is dead.
But March, there's
Flowers.
There's flowers.
Okay.
It's during their flower
Well, what
fest.
day in March is it?
March 18. Their flower fest opens
True.
2 weeks before. The azaleas will be in
blooming.
full bloom.
Okay. We'll see. Okay. It's going to be.
The
That's good
wild
because
flowers are supposed to be
Sounds
in
like an
full bloom.
allergy attack.
end of February, early March is a severe. It's a transition for the Earth. The climate it usually is at that point, and that's guaranteed like some kind of disruptive weather.
We
It's
already
rare.
have a lot more people registering for this race.
Okay,
than in January.
then I'm not going to complain.
Don't rock the boat.
I'm not going to rock it. I like that song though. That was from night. It was the
There's like 30 people
rock the
registered
boat,
right now.
don't tip the boat over. Rock the boat. Dun, dun, dun. It was 1975.
Lewis, can we press play?
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun,
Press
dun,
play.
dun, dun.
Lewis, press play.
Okay. Who's saying rock the boat? No, not
I think you have to
Elia.
say. I
It's
think
like
you
a
have
new-
to say, "Hey Siri."
Hey Siri. Yeah, but it's taking something more modern.
watch.
This is old. Okay.
Hey Siri, who sang "Rock the Boat"
70s.
in the 70s?
Here's what I found from last
Put it up to the mic.
Hughes Corporation was a pop
Hughes
and
Corporation,
soul trio
that's it.
of the mid-70s. They are best known for their 1974 classic,
74, I was
infectious
off a year.
hit, Rock the Boat, a U.S. #1 single and million seller, which is considered
I
by
wasn't
many
even a
an early
twinkle in my
classic of
mother's
disco
eye.
music.
I remember I was 9
Nice
years
as a
old.
verse,
I was 9 years
disco
old.
song to hit #1.
Yes. Rock the boat. Don't tip the boat over. Rock the boat. Singing along, Jana. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun. Here.
My watch is going to notify 911 here
I know.
pretty soon.
Personal power, people positive, the community of connection. This is the Bob Jeswald Show.
Military spouses sitting right in front of me. My co-host Joanne Cogle and Jana Roman, who's been and his 4 kids. Yep, and Joanne's got a child and being singular, but it doesn't matter. One, I don't even know how you do it. 4, but being a military spouse is a big deal because you are really supportive of your husbands. We appreciate that for keeping our country safe. But it's funny because a military spouse usually transforms into someone like you are in the military. Because when you talk to a military spouse, you're serving too. Is that fair?
Fair.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I could see it in your eye. Jana ran with us a soldier marathon. You did our relay team 5 years ago, maybe that was
17, 18, and 19.
something like that. Because 19 was the end of it for 10 years. And 1 year we were kind of contained on the Oxbow Meadow side because there was something construction going on. And I remember you coming in, you were very filled with emotion. I remember you had a lot going on. I'm not getting choked up. It's just my voice. But Jana, it was a lot going on with you. I knew it. I mean, I just knew.
Well,
And yeah. Maybe she was just pissed because she didn't do well.
No. That was because there was that helicopter crash, and one of our coaches flies the helicopter, and fortunately,
that's what
was
happened.
not
Okay, well,
was not in that situation. Fortunately,
okay, gotcha. So, but even that being said, you're like one unit. You're one family. When something happens, or you think something happened to somebody that your husband serves with, the spouses. It's something happens thousands of miles away in theater, many miles away. And one of your gym members at CrossFit CSG had passed, and he was a remarkable man. He was our hero. And, that was tough. So when you do that, it's very personal. So you guys are serving all the time. You're helping other spouses to get through their tough times. You're helping Joanne out. Joanne helps you. And,
I don't really help Jana.
You don't help? Does she help you?
I write Jana a check. Jana does a lot more of helping me than I help Jana.
And she works for you, though, literally, too.
Yeah.
She's a trainer, so that's good.
She's a friend.
And she's a friend. That's nice. See how you guys all connect? Isn't that cool? Because you grew up, where was your hometown before you met your husband?
So my dad was in the military too. So
Say you're just a brat. You're used to this living. So where, if you claimed home, where would it be?
I would claim Texas home.
Okay.
Because that's where he retired.
Gotcha. It's where most of you. And I know where Joanne, Joanne's all over
she
too.
files her taxes.
She files her
That's where I
taxes. That's
file
right.
my
That's right.
taxes.
Yeah. There you
It's
go.
free.
Yeah. Good. How do you know all that, Joanne? Well, you do her.
She
check.
doesn't ever change her license plate either.
Oh, really? Well, so you can get away with it in a military town. Military towns, you don't have to change plates, it seems like, because everyone goes, well, they're in the military. They're here for a short time, and it's where they're at, and you don't get pulled over. Other states, they don't have like a post or a base or something.
Unless you're Hawaii plate, then you have to change it.
That would be a little
Then
obvious.
it's hard to go home.
Yeah, exactly. They know what the car gets shipped back on some kind of a barge or something back to Hawaii. It goes, but again, you've done remarkable stuff. You had to go through a lot of PCSing and going to places you're probably like, oh hell, I don't want to be there. We talked about Fort Drum before this. I'm making a joke because at the time of this podcast, it's like pouring lake effect snow in Western New York.
Right.
Fort Drum gets a lot of storms from the south. They get it from Lake Ontario, wherever it may be. So what is the toughest thing about being a military spouse? What do you think? I mean, it's like, what do you?
It's a lot of lonely nights. We've done 8 deployments, so for me, it's just, it's not having my Widmar home. My husband's Widmar, but not having him home most of the time. So because we do have 4 kids, just a lot of the unknown. So I think the hardest part is unknown, whether that's in deployments or PCSing or wherever we're living. Nothing is really known in the military, and it can change really quickly. And so that's probably the hardest part.
It is. In growing up that way. Now, Joanne didn't grow up is someone that was in a military family. Neither did I. And I had family members who did, but I may be wrong and stand corrected here.
I'm
But
conveniently Canadian today.
yeah, yes, right, exactly. That's okay. Hey, I was right around the corner. And I hung out, and her and I are from the same area. But what is it that made Chuck? I know she doesn't want to say it. She doesn't claim me.
Completely different countries.
No, we're right across. It's a line that distincts the two countries for crying out loud.
It's a giant
Buffalo,
lake.
Niagara Falls. I'm in
The giant lake.
Mississauga. I've been in Toronto. I mean, I hung out there. I mean, those are that's just like, what are you doing
Upstate
tonight? Let's
New
go to
York's
Toronto. It's Canada.
Canada.
Come on, Joanne.
We're one and the same.
Yes. She doesn't want to claim me. That's what it is. She doesn't want to say she's from the same area.
We're the same person.
Yeah, I know. You meet Chuck.
Yeah, I met Chuck.
Did you know he was in the military?
Oh, yes, I did.
What was it that made you want to date a military guy?
He just never went away.
Really? So he was.
I mean,
high
I
on you.
was working at Fort Benning, so
Yeah. So
I mean,
okay. So Chuck is attracted to you. He's not letting you go. I like this woman, and that's it. And then he keeps pursuing
it's
you.
a really uncomfortable,
I know. I
conversation.
can't. But this is what makes this great. See Joanne in a hot seat.
very uncomfortable conversation.
First time I ever saw you get uncomfortable like this, Joanne. Well, she usually does it if I take
I was
pictures of her.
coaching a swim class,
Okay.
and somebody brought him. I'm sure his rendition is completely different. So, I
We're gonna have him on. I'm gonna ask him.
yeah. Well, I don't think he listens to this, so
Yeah.
fortunately,
Yeah.
somebody will report to him now. So, I don't know. I was coaching a master swim class, and then one of my other friends brought him, and he was like,
What's your deal?
"There we are, the end."
Yeah.
Happily ever after.
Joanne just does not know how to put the frosting on the cake. It's missing it, Joanne. Missing it.
That's it.
That's
it.
okay. That's her
That's
version.
it.
Happily ever after.
What's your version, Jana? What was
Yeah,
your?
she doesn't know anything about
No,
Chuck.
but your version of yourself with you and.
Oh,
of Widmar and I?
Yeah.
it's
So
probably way better.
Yeah.
Way more romantic.
not really. We met in high school, but he doesn't really actually remember
Doesn't
that.
remember? Oh, he
does
doesn't.
not, no.
Wow.
So, and then he went to West Point,
Okay.
the military academy. And then he came back to visit, and we ran into each other again. And then we just started dating long distance. And then he graduated from West Point, and we got married a year later. So
Great. Good.
here we are.
Officer.
And then they have 4 kids.
Great. And you got 4 kids.
We do.
Okay, that's the end of our podcast. Thanks for all the information here, folks. That was just what we need to hear.
That's
All
we've
good.
got.
Okay, now that means I'm gonna have to twist it up a notch or two to see if I can get a little bit more out of you guys. Let's see how we can do something. Try all over again. Let's put it this way. So, if you were to tell any other woman out there that's with someone who's just a newlywed and she's never experienced the military life like you, or Joanne's been in it for a while now too, what would you say to them?
Oh, I think we should pull up Facebook.
Facebook
No,
might
we
be the
should
We
not.
trend.
should pull up Facebook and put this question in the Facebook.
We
spouses group.
we could see. No, but
Now there's
should.
many advice columns out there.
yeah, there are, and that's what's confusing. And you got to be careful how you take that because everybody's situation is different. If you had one bit of advice that would kind of be the umbrella to cover over any young woman, since you're a woman, or guy, maybe as the wife is serving, what would be that one advice do you think would be just the most important, would be the most germane point that would just kind of cover everything? What would you say?
I think for me, it's support your spouse, but also to find something that you yourself are passionate about. So whatever that is for you. So whether that's your job or volunteering or something that you are specifically passionate about, and don't lose sight of it, because it's really easy to get caught up in the military world, which I was like that for probably our first 10 years of marriage. I did a lot of volunteering. I did a lot of serving in the unit, and I still do that, but I didn't have anything that was just mine. And then I got involved in CrossFit community. And for me, that is my passion. It's my passion to coach other people. But I still think I balance that relatively well, of loving my husband and my kids, but finding something that is important for me to do. It gives you a purpose outside of the military also. And so I love the military. I love the military family. I will serve and volunteer in any capacity. But I also want something that's also just kind of for me that I enjoy doing. So
key point. That makes sense. And I think, Joanne, you kind of embrace that whole concept too. I mean, you're pretty independent. I mean,
I'm a terrible Army wife. Retired.
Well, yeah, but
by the way,
but you're not terrible, because I think you held the fort down every time Chuck came back. And I remember a few times, there's some tough days there, when you come with a straight face. She's always doing it. So when they come back home, you're the steady rock and everything's in order.
I think it's important that you learn to figure it out yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Buy your hammer and nail, and learn to climb a ladder.
Tough. You sound like you were in the military.
No,
but you're not. Yeah,
I wasn't.
But it's good, and everybody's different. And some of the women listening to are like, wait a minute, well, easy for them. I mean, I'm struggling, because you hear a lot of women having affairs or spouses, because it's a very tough thing. I mean, they come back, they're just not really connected. There's a transitioning point and understanding the proper way of getting back into civilian life that's very difficult. And if somebody's not adjusted like you two, or having some outlet, which sounds like to me, to keep them a little bit more centered, focused, so they could be a good person to help parlay that transition. If you don't have that, you're and then they get frustrated and they feel like, I'm not feeling appreciated, or he's been gone for so long, and I'm I have needs, or you got something going on, I need somebody to hug me or hold me or whatever. How do you get through those points? I mean, to me, it's just being human.
I think it's who you associate yourself with. So I try to put myself in positions where, like, I am with good girlfriends, like my friends are good girlfriends. And like I said, I love the military. I love the military life, and I love the military family. And so, I just try really hard to kind of make sure that the people I'm surrounding myself with are good, solid people. And also for me, I have just always hung out with female friends. And then that kind of, I think what you're saying is, I'm like,
Joanne's face.
Oh, look at me.
I just think, it's who you put yourself around.
Yeah.
And so if you choose to hang out with people that could be a temptation to you in a time where, like, you spend 15 months away from your spouse, you're going to be tempted. But if you don't do that, then your
can
chances,
be. At least you're being honest. I mean, that's the itch. I mean, you would be like, okay, because it's like, and that's the key, because for our people serving, listening, men or women, that for them, and all the things I always heard, I'm civilian, I never served, so I don't really know, but just by stories and really immersing myself with these guys, it's that for them it's easy. I mean, that's their job and they're doing their stuff, but for you got to deal with this emotion back home. You got 4 kids, you got the new one, you got your child, Joanne, and you're trying to get all this together, hold it down. When they come back, then you got to be there for them too. And
transition is hard.
It is. The transition, I think, is hard. And that's why I do a lot of volunteering with that. Anyone who's listening, get involved with any kind of nonprofit transitioning. Civilians, especially listening, you feel like you want to do something, that's a great way to get back. Like, if you never served, that could be a way of, you could think to yourself, hey, I'm serving. And that's what I've embraced over almost 20 plus years now. I've been doing this, but it makes a difference. It changes everything. You make a difference for these men and women coming back. It's tough, because when you think about it, how many people do you both know? I'm trying to think, how many people do you know that you had to, like, kind of grab them and say, hey, don't do that, or you had to tell them you see that they're going astray? Was there a lot of that? Could you say there is? But of course, you're surrounding yourself with these people that are not like that. But have you seen it?
I think we've seen it.
Breakups, marriages fall apart.
Right.
Very easily could have fell apart. Was there any time with both of you that you could have said, I can't do this? but you just held on.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, yeah,
100%.
yeah. But that says a lot about the two of you, which is good because you know, a lot of women could look up to that and see when you feel like the bottom's going to drop out, and it does, I'm sure, many times, every time. So when that bottom's doing that, how do you get yourself back into that space? What's another methodology besides, is it working out? I mean, what is it that you do to keep your mental faculties together? Because it's got to be a mental drain.
It is.
Pro tips with Bob.
No.
Oh, I'm just yeah, I know you like that. I mean, so what would you say? I mean, what are some of the things? I mean,
I do try to have like a good exercise routine for me, just because when I feel myself, I don't want to use the word depressed, but like it's hard. You know, we've done 15-month deployments, we've done 12-month deployments, and those are really long. And they can be really grueling when you're dealing with, you know, people that are dying over, you know, in the beginning of the war.
It's horrible.
It's very different now, but you know, back in the day, it was like every day somebody was getting killed in Iraq or Afghanistan. And so, finding something that kept my mind off of it. So for me, I went back to school, I worked out. So I just kind of found an outlet that worked for me. I still did like, you know, stuff with my girlfriends. So I would go on girls trips or dinners out or stuff like that. That would just kind of take me out of that when I felt like I was getting in that place. And finding a good friend that you know that you can trust and talk to. And I think that's really important.
Don't look at me.
I'm looking at you again. To the right of Jana.
I know she's very quiet,
that's
but
right.
Joanne and I have had lots of conversations.
I'm sure. Yeah, Joanne she holds her cards close, but you could see it in her face. But it's amazing though how she keeps her, you know, many times working with her over these many years, she's, you know, crap can hit the fan. Joanne just gets that look in her face, does it with her mouth. Okay.
Well,
And then it's like,
well,
I mean,
here we
bad
go.
stuff. I'm talking about some serious crap, and I've seen her, and I'm like, Bob, you're going to just have to wrap this sucker up and take over from here. I'll be back later. And I know, oh my gosh, but it, you know, we can laugh at it now, but it truly is something to me that it still amazes me. And it's different too, because when I talk to the old war days, I talked to my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, they did it until it was over and it came back. Okay, Korea, he did his Korea. He didn't keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. With your generation is this constant deployment, trying to come back, still not finished, got to go back, and especially Ranger spouses. And he was in a regiment, not right now, but when he was, you know, and that's what the Rangers do. You know, they come in, they're in there for so many weeks, boom, they're back home again. They have to readjust. What? And then boom, got to get set up because they're getting ready to go in another 3 months. It's like, what the heck? Right. Thank God for the 3 battalions, but it's a lot. It's a lot. And then you got to sit there and it feels like, here we go again.
Right.
So for the here we go again, the main thing I keep hearing, it seems like, to me, it feels like it's like this workout thing, like this adrenaline rush. Joanne immersing herself in this, you know, Tri Columbus stuff, you know, triathlons, or, you know, organizing that kind of stuff, and having her own, you know, boutique gym. And now she's serving in the community as a city councilor. And you know, you're the military spouse. You have 4 kids. She's got her daughter, and you know, you're working out and working, you know, CrossFit CSG, helping other military spouses. I guarantee you are. I know you are. When you're in there, I've seen you, you know, train people in that, and you're like in a position of commanding authority, and that's good. You know. What was that all about? Tell me about the laugh.
Like,
the heck? What was that laugh about?
Lose control of those 8:30 and 9:30.
Well, give me an example of that. I want to hear.
I do lose control.
Tell me how we lose control. Let's hear this.
They just do whatever they want.
Oh my gosh! So Jana,
Just
so tell me
honest.
how does that happen?
But they keep coming back, so they
They're
must
just
sort of like
cheerleading.
it.
Yeah, I know.
I'm a good
Jana-
cheerleader.
Jana just has that look
If
on
you
her
think
face.
about hurting kittens, that's kind of what it is.
It is.
Yeah.
That
Is that what it is?
It's not so much me; it's them.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! It's like her. Well, how old are they? I mean, what's you know? We're giving age away here, but how much
I
are they
mean-
younger? Like E3s coming in, younger? Because you have a lot of
No.
military.
No.
Plus, you have civilians, but
Very
most of them military.
eclectic group.
It's a wide variety.
Is it really good?
Yeah.
Okay.
And our classes are, I mean, you know, we have like some retired military in there, and then
Mm-hmm.
we have people that have worked as civilian for several years, and we have a wide variety in there. So military spouses,
So, yeah.
soldiers.
Kind of begs the question again. I'm still trying to figure out something here. I feel like there's still something that I'm not getting out of the two of you.
We're pretty boring and stable.
No, but maybe that's what that says something though, that you guys are doing something right. I mean, even when I say it, I can see your eyes and see you kind of thinking.
I mean,
about
we
it.
don't really have that much drama in our life. I mean, not really.
So you
I mean,
think,
I
but
feel like we make it sound. I do feel like I kind of make it sound like it's like unicorn and rainbows. Like it's really, everything is great all the time. It's not. I don't know.
But I think we're older. So, like, I think if you are a younger military spouse, then it's
like I
hard.
could tell you a lot about what I learned for the first 10 years of my life of what not to do.
Tell us.
Don't overtax yourself. Don't. I volunteered for everything that I could possibly put my hands on, to the point where it just like ran me into the ground, and I was really resentful. So then on top of that, my husband was gone. And I've learned to say no to the things that I can say no to, but then say yes to the things that are really important. So for me, that's his current unity's in. I also do, like, my faith is really important to me. So I also do like church stuff with my kids and Bible study with my kids. That is something I can say yes to. And then my own job and my passion, which is training other people. I would say the gym. I would say women, but we have men in the gym. I've gone back and forth where I've trained women. In this case, it's been military spouses out of my garage because it's what I had and was what worked best for us during that time. But don't overtax yourself. Learn how to say no. Love your spouse first. That's number one. Yeah. And then kind of go back from there. So
that goes in with your faith, You
it does. Love God.
Right
love Him.
Yeah, there you go. And that's something. Seems so simple, but some people can't.
And it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard
it is
to
hard.
do that.
You're in that flesh world, and all these distractions and stuff. So to avoid that, the gym compensates for you, and that's a good way of looking at it. Looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Joanne, would you agree?
I agree.
So when does he retire? Is he thinking about it?
So he has another big job coming up, and so we'll move actually from here.
Oh, no, not again.
I know.
She's
don't
moved
worry,
100 times.
Don't worry,
Don't be back.
They're gonna boomerang back.
Yeah,
here
they always do.
for the 5th time.
How do you do
there.
that? Hey, how many times has it been from Fort Benning to?
So he's been here 5. We've been here together 4.
Okay.
4 times. So
Jeez,
I keep giving Jana her job back.
Every time she leaves, and then we see her a couple of years later, she's back. I hate when you leave, though. But we still hear it. We follow you on Facebook. It feels like you never leave, though. Because then Joanne flies to see you, too, sometimes.
She does, and I've flown back here. She did once.
Well, you flew that time to do our run that time.
I did.
Yeah, you did. I remember.
I did. We've done.
Jana comes way more times than I go.
Then you go. So is this what would happen? Let's say when he does this, how many more? Will we be pushing 20 years pretty soon?
We are pushing 20.
Yeah, I was going to say.
We're almost at 18.
Wow.
So.
Yeah. So you got to fit. Maybe crazy not to hit 20 at least. And he's what's his? Where is he now in the chain of? He's an officer.
He's a lieutenant colonel.
Lieutenant colonel now. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah. Oh, it might be a bird colonel or something.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I would
major.
love to
Would
come
it be
back
major?
here.
No, he'd be major and then lieutenant colonel.
He's
and
lieutenant
then a bird colonel. Yeah. And then Joanne's husband he's an NCO and non-commissioned officer, like my father-in-law was. So it's neat to see do you see a difference in, you always hear the thing that officer wives versus the NCO wives. Is there really a tension there?
I will reiterate
Yes.
again that I am a really terrible Army wife.
My dad was enlisted and
Really
my
bad.
father-in-law were enlisted. So
do you see, isn't it, or am I just, because I don't want to call people out here, but I'm just asking you too, because I've seen it.
I think there's a stigma there.
Yeah, there's a stigma.
There is. I wish it wasn't. I'm pretty,
You don't act like, I would think you're an
No.
NCO wife. No offense to the officer wives.
I don't know.
Joanne, no, I'm just kidding. Look at it. Look. Hey, I got you to.
Oh,
I
man.
touched a nerve there. Talk to me about that. Why did you laugh at that when I said that?
Again, I'm a really terrible
Joanne thinks she's a bad
I don't think
Army
she is.
wife.
She
She's
can't.
not.
No, not
She's
at all.
not.
Hey, she filled in for Chuck one time when he just came back from deployment, and that would have been tough. He came back, and he came back.
I never really know. I mean,
Yeah,
I never
and she
really
filled
knew
in for
what
him.
unit he was in.
Yeah, but you don't have to know that. You just have
It's
to
like
love
1, 2,
them
3, 4.
and support them.
1, 2, 3,
Bravo
4.
somewhere.
1, 2, 3, 4. Bravo.
I don't know. There's so many different changes I couldn't keep
That's
track.
probably why it worked with
Yeah.
you two.
Probably true.
I love
is
him
fun.
dearly, but I just couldn't keep track. And
That's-
I can't.
I can't.
That's what matters. You love him.
I just can't.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
just
You
hit the
stood
nail on the
by
head.
his side during really hard times.
Thank you. And you know what? And that's a great point. That's a great point. That, just to even culminate this is that you stood by him, you loved him. There are wives in the old generation. My mother-in-law didn't work at all. I shouldn't say that. She'd shoot me right now. But she did some stuff. But she was there for the girls, all four, including my wife, was the youngest. And they work. She worked to always keep track of Dad's stuff. Who would just the contrary was like Joanne, but as the command sergeant major saying, I don't know what the hell he did. What year was that? I don't know. That was him. So when he was inducted in Ranger Hall of Fame, we had to get my nephew, who was at RTB then, and we had to get paperwork together to figure out what he did. And she knew every bit of his career since 1950 on. 5th Company, knew where he was when he was in the Taipei conflict in 58 in China, and 3 tours in Vietnam, and knew exactly what he was doing, this and that. And he goes, yeah. And some things he just didn't want to talk about. Right. But she kept copious notes, but stood by him, had some tough times in their generation. They just didn't know how to express. Joanne, on the other hand, does it the contrary. But just the key is, and you see the theme between everyone I talk to that are having successes, is that you stay by them, you love them, you stay by them, you're there when they get home. And despite all the that you got to deal with, really.
I don't think that's PG.
Lewis
is going.
Could I?
Lewis is going to have to go bleep.
Do you have to bleep that? Oh,
Yes.
Okay. But
PG-ish.
so
SH.
yeah, exactly.
Star.
It's just all the poop you have to deal with.
There you go. That was
That's even worse.
It's tough because it's like, why do you have to, you know what I mean? And you got to know how to readjust, get back on that track again. Don't let it sidetrack. Don't get off on a tangent. Stay put, stay focused. And that's,
I think too, you also can't be afraid to ask for help. So whatever that looks like, if you need help from, I like plug therapy, like,
sure. No,
if that goes from a soldier or a spouse perspective, it's available and it's free. There's free counseling for military spouses and military families. And it's crazy how many people don't know that or don't utilize it when times are hard. And so I think that, it is hard. This life is hard. There's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of deployments. There's a lot of things going on. And when it gets overwhelming, not being afraid to ask for help or go to therapy or find a chaplain to talk to, any of those type of things, that is also that's huge to being successful in this life.
Perfect. It's a good way to say this, because everything we do at the nonprofits, they're there, folks. I mean, I may put a few on there, but I mean, even like Gallant Few, Darby's for men transitioning or women coming back, but Gallant Few will do everything for kids, families, everything. There's the Rangers, they have different things for support. I mean, you name it. There's no reason why, and hopefully a lot through the VA and all the red tape that's going through. I was talking to Mark Hollis at a previous podcast. Joanne was busy that day, but we were talking about things you can get through quicker to get that mental support, especially if there's something with PTSD or depression or whatever coming back home, and you can get that stuff expedited now. A lot of people don't, and because if you go through the regular chain of bureaucratic red tape, it could take months, and it's too late. You can't wait that long. So there are, as Jana said, take full advantage of this stuff, guys. I mean, it's there for you. I mean, do it. Watch that, Joanne. Do you have any that you would advise for anyone to go to?
Nope.
Okay. There you go. Is that
Military OneSource is a great option.
That's a good one. Military OneSource. Why don't we do a link to that? We'll do a link right here. So it's right at the bottom.
They have counseling from everything from marriage, anything that's as long as you're not at risk to hurting yourself or someone else. They have counseling for you, like financial, emotional, any of that. So struggling.
Try it.
Anything. So
say it again.
Military OneSource.
Does it need what kind of insurance?
Spell
Nothing.
out one. Military.
Spell it out. Okay. Military
source.
Good. And folks, we have a link right here, as Joanne and Jana put down here. You two guys are the best. Thanks for everything you do. Thanks for your service. Because without you, be free.
I'm retired now, so.
Yeah. You're still serving them. You always will. And we'll do that for our next podcast, which you could pick up anytime. WRBL.com. We stream it right here and on YouTube right now. You can see the beautiful military spouses here in front of me. Known them forever, but I would say this is it's good to see their pretty faces. And then you can also check us on social media. You'll have a couple of those funny moments that we had today. We'll see where those are. And where they pick up. Always at 7 streaming, and then you can get everything on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, wherever you get your podcasts. There you go. Jeswald, WRBL.com, Facebook, Bob Jeswald, WRBL, Instagram, and the rest is history. Jana, thank you so much. Jojo, we'll see you next week again. And Jana, when are you leaving again from this podcast?
We won't leave until May.
May of 23. Okay, good. We got some time with you
Love
guys.
it.
To have her back on the podcast.
Yeah,
That'd be
that's
good.
what we'll do because we'll do a little follow through. Tell us about that. Okay, that's great. And you'll be back
Poor
in
Jana.
23, 24, 25. You'll probably be back at 25.
We're really hoping.
Good.
That's the goal.
Same here. So we'll see you. Yeah, but we'll be talking to you. We can always talk to her anywhere. You know, we can Zoom now, right?
Zoom me in.
Yeah, we can Zoom her in. Yeah, that's right.
Lucky Jana.
Jana, we're going to Zoom you in.
Oh, man.
Beam me up, Scotty. Beam me up, Jana. There you go. Talk to
Okay,
you guys.
Lewis.
Okay.
That's the end.